Item number 4 is a request for approval of the International Organization of Masters, Mates, and Pilots and Inland Boatmen's Union of the Pacific Collective Bargaining Agreement and Memorandum of Understanding and Settlement. This had a 3-0 recommendation for approval in committee, and I move approval.
Okay, it's been moved for approval. Is there any further discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion passes 7-0.
Item number 5 is a resolution amending resolution number 2012-039, salary schedule and policies for unrepresented Whatcom County employees. This had a 3-0 recommendation for approval in committee, and I move approval.
Okay, it's been moved for approval. Is there any discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, that resolution passes 7-0.
And this one is, number 6 is a resolution for request for the Whatcom County Flood Control Zone District Board of Supervisors, so get that hat on your head. It's a request for the executive to enter into a contract amendment between the County Flood Control Zone District and Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office for the Canyon Creek Barrier Removal Project in the amount of $365,310 for a total amended contract in the amount of $1,339,060. This had a 3-0 recommendation for approval, and I move approval.
Okay, it's been moved for approval. Is there any discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that passes 7-0. And from our Public Works, Health, and Safety Committee, Councilmember Brenner.
Yes, we discussed resolution endorsing Washington State Initiative 522, requiring labeling of genetically engineered food products. I wholeheartedly endorse it, unfortunately, for me. The other sponsors decided for different reasons of concern, including one who doesn't like to do initiatives about the state, another one who didn't really understand all the information yet, and that's all I can remember of the two issues. But I did do my homework. I think this is a right for people to know what they're getting, and I don't buy the argument. I mean, I've really looked into this a lot. Maybe other people didn't, but I did, and I'm disappointed, but I understand that other council members no longer want to sponsor this at this point, and I'll keep trying. So for now,
Brenner, the simple action was to hold it in committee.
No, actually,
you held it in committee.
I know, but I thought
was
2-1 to hold it in committee for 2 weeks. But I had talked to the clerk, and I thought that one of the two.
What we had talked about was if there wasn't the support on the council, that possibly you didn't want to hold it in committee and have folks come again in 2 weeks to talk about it when there was no chance that it was going to pass. So that's what we talked about this afternoon.
Okay. See, I thought the other person who voted to hold it in committee had changed his mind. Go ahead.
Okay. So there's no motion on the table, and I'm going to move to other items.
Madam Chair,
no, you don't
a point of order. The committee took an action, and I think that we're obligated to bring that action before the full council this evening, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Okay, well, there is no action. It was held in committee.
There is. We voted then. I thought
to postpone it 2 weeks.
To hold in committee for 2 weeks.
Right.
I don't think that's a vote that goes to the full council.
It doesn't come to the full council. It's just an announcement that you make.
Unless we can't override that, right? What is the mechanism to override that? It's a supermajority vote to override the committee?
It would just be a discussion amongst the council members to decide if you wanted to move forward with the resolution or not. And if you wish to move forward with the resolution, then it would be put back in committee in 2 weeks. If there wasn't agreement amongst the council members that they wanted to move forward with it, then it doesn't need to go to committee in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we would make a resolution to not pass it?
You would just pull the resolution off the council's docket.
Yeah, but how would we know if the council's going to do that?
Somebody makes a
We
motion.
have to make a motion of something.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Okay. Can I make a
Councilmember
motion?
Knutzen?
I make a motion that we remove this recommendation endorsing State Initiative 522.
Well, that
Is that appropriate?
actually
Is that
we
it? Is
didn't.
that the motion I want?
The motion is to remove it from
Council consideration?
in
Correct.
2 weeks.
Remove it from council consideration.
Okay, Councilmember Crawford?
Well, we were going to end up discussing this tonight anyway. I guess it was inevitable. So let me just say I'm going to support that motion, and I appreciate and respect the opinions of those who are passionate about this particular issue. However, I just am really convinced that the council should not be in the business of taking citizen-sponsored initiatives that are going to go before the voters and weighing in on that. I really want the citizens to do that, especially when it's not something the county council would ever regulate anyway. I leave that to our citizens to figure that part out, and that's my reason. I don't have a strong opinion on this labeling thing, and I haven't received enough information to determine how I'm going to vote in November on the thing. My first instinct was, what are we doing with our Ag Advisory Committee, and where do they stand on this issue? Well, it ends up it's never been discussed by our Ag Advisory Committee, and I have my passion. Unlike the labeling issue, which again I respect that, my passion is to do everything I can to help our local ag industry. And our ag industry, when I say local, I mean the entire vision or the entire process of what our ag community does. And we have 98% of the Whatcom County ag product leaving this county, and it represents a lot of money in this community. Probably just the farm gate value of the products themselves is $330 million. I would guess the industry has $1 billion annual impact in Whatcom County, and that is very important to make sure they're on board with any initiative this council takes. But in this case, for the council to come out on this one, I wouldn't even ask them at this point, because I don't want to get in the middle of that, and I don't think it's the role of this council to get in the middle of that.
Councilmember Brenner?
Well, that's the whole problem. The Ag Advisory Committee, I would like to know what they think about GMO, genetically modified organisms, genetically engineered organisms, but I don't think it's the Ag Advisory Committee's right to tell me whether I can see something on a label or not. That's all this is about, is putting something on a label. And some of us do care a lot more about it, others don't. I mean, it's an individual thing, but usually there's choice. And unlike calories and salt and sugar and all these other things, if they're not on a label, I could find them really easily. I cannot find anywhere about what I'm getting, if it's GMO or genetically engineered or genetically modified, unless I go to all organic food. I don't think me going to all organic food is also a help to our ag community. I just feel like it's the kind of thing, it's information, and we deserve to have it. And I was wanting to send it to the Public Health Advisory Committee. I'd like to know what they think about GMO and GE and all that. But again, this is about my ability to be able to see what I'm buying to consume. That's the way I see it.
Councilmember Mann?
I think the fact that we're having such a passionate debate right now is a good thing. I enjoy that, but I also think it points to the fact that we could spend a lot of resources, county resources, time and energy, and political time and energy, debating something we have no control over, has no real nexus to our duties and responsibilities on the Whatcom County Council. I don't have any special experience or expertise or education on this issue from sitting on the council or listening, doing research with staff. So I am reluctant to give the council stamp of approval to a statewide ballot initiative. It just seems a little bit out of our scope, and in general, everyone knows I don't like meddling with the state legislature anyway unless they ask. So I have come around. I will probably vote for this on the ballot because I think labeling is good and information is good, but the council weighing in on it, I don't see where that's our role.
Councilmember Kremen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Councilmember Crawford is right. The farm gate value in Whatcom County is extremely significant. Of the 3,066 counties in the United States, Whatcom County's farm gate is in the top 0.5% of all the counties in the United States of America. However, unlike my colleague from Emerald Lake, is it Emerald Lake?
The Golden Shores of.
Yeah, the Golden Shores of Emerald Lake. I'm going to oppose the motion before us made by Councilmember Knutzen. Because of my pro-consumer, because I'm pro-consumer, and I think that this particular initiative is pro-consumer, and I think that trumps all of the years of my support for agriculture and my continued support for the agriculture industry in Whatcom County.
Well, I'm going to speak to it. I read 522, pulled it up because I thought, what is this about? And like Councilmember Crawford, I couldn't really figure out what the county council would be doing other than to be sending a loud message of support to voters that we supported it. But when I was reading through 522, I had some of the same concerns that one of the speakers raised, in that 522 doesn't really get at some of the things I might be interested in. So I'm not sure if 522 is the one I want to endorse, quite frankly. So I agree. I don't think this is something that this council should be spending time deliberating and weighing in on. This will go to the voters. We can let the voters read the bill and decide if they want to support it. And I'm going to support the motion to not continue discussing it. Councilmember Brenner.
Oh, my, one more try. I heard what the speaker said, and I just find that, that reasoning I have a real problem with, because what the labeling will do will give those of us who want to know more the ability to know more and say, okay, this is here, now I can go and find it. If I don't even know that it's there, there's nowhere to go look. And yes, it would be really nice to have every scientific fact all over every label, which would cost a fortune and put people out of business. This is just to let people know, which I know that GMO and GE is out there, and there's been a lot of talk about it. It gives people the ability to know that it's there, and if they want more information, that's maybe a time to look at it, to call the company, to do whatever they want. But you can't do that if you don't even know it's there.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Councilmember Weimer.
Well, I think since we're all just explaining ourselves and my name was on it to begin with, and I haven't asked my name to be off of it because I would love to learn more about it, but what's dawned on me in the last 48 hours is that I don't know enough to endorse this at this point. And what's also dawned on me is, and you've heard it here already and you heard it earlier, we're going to spend a whole lot of time on this. There's already discussion of sending it to the Ag Advisory Committee, the Health Advisory Committee, and like other people have said, it's really not an issue that falls within the county realm. So I don't want to see the county spending a lot of things trying to do this. Maybe the council could sponsor a forum and let the two sides come up and discuss it, and we'd all leave with a better educated idea about it. But I don't want to see us spending the next 3 weeks on this, so I'm going to support the...
Was that a motion?
No.
Okay, Councilmember Brenner.
I'm not changing anybody's mind, I'm sure, but I don't want you to think I was going to send it to the Ag Advisory Committee and the Public Health Advisory Committee for them to come back to us with recommendation. I just thought it might be an interesting topic in the future. For me, again, it's about label, period. My right to know something's there. And if I want to know more about it, if I know it's there, I know where to look. That's all.
Okay. Any further discussion on this item? So Councilmember Knutzen has moved to pull this item from council consideration. All right. All those in, and we need how many votes? 4. All right. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
Okay, that motion passes with Councilmembers Kremen and Brenner opposed. All right. Item number 8 from Public Works, Health, and Safety Committee. Councilmember Brenner.
Resolution vacating a portion of Bridgewater Street, Shipyard Road, and Dearborn Avenue per RCW 5817 and RCW 3687 and Whatcom County Code 1220. This is going to be a first for me. I'm actually going to support the vacation because it's vacation of a much smaller amount than what originally came to us. And we checked with the city of Blaine, which this will eventually be in the city of Blaine. I wanted to be sure that if they needed to provide services, that there would be ample room for them to be able to provide those services. And Blaine assured us they would, and they didn't have a problem with it. So I'm going to support it.
So you've moved.
And I think in committee, it didn't come out committee 3-0. Yes, 3-0 to recommend approval.
Okay, so it's been recommended for approval. Is there any further discussion on this item? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that resolution passes 7-0. All right, item number 9 is a nomination and appointment to fill 2 vacancies on the Whatcom County Portage Bay Shellfish Protection District Advisory Committee. Our applicants are Christine Woodward and Lee First. So are there any nominations?
I nominate Christine Woodward and Lee First.
All right. Is there any further discussion on these 2 applicants? All right. Seeing none. All those, wait a second. We vote on them together. All those in favor of Christine Woodward and Lee First serving on the Portage Bay Shellfish Protection District Advisory Committee, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
All right. Councilmember Crawford is opposed. That passes 6-1. Item number 10 is a request confirmation of the county executive's appointments of Amy Schubert, Carol Hawk, David Kincello, Michael Massanari, Larry Richardson, Dascombe Jameson, Teresa Bolstetter, and Mark McDonald to the Whatcom County Behavior Health Advisory Board. Is there a nomination? All right. Councilmember Mann has moved confirmation. Any further discussion on this? All right. Seeing none, all those in favor of confirming the following individuals to the Whatcom County Behavior Health Advisory Board, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. That passes 7-0. And item.
I should have said this before we voted, but I don't need to go through this list of these incredible people: Teresa Bostetter and Dak Jameson, and I don't know if Jack was in here, but these are really Larry Richardson. These are really dedicated people, and there's talk about a thankless committee. I mean, they make very big decisions. And they spend a lot of time, and the only thing they get in return, as with many committees we point, is the gratification of serving the community. But this is a great role these people play, and they should be commended for that.
Yes, they should. Thank you for reminding me. Thank them all for serving. Councilmember Brenner?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, every one of those you just named actually has served on it before, and they care so much they're serving again. So that's pretty neat.
Awesome that we have people willing to serve.
Yep.
Okay, we've got item number 11 is a request approval for council to send a letter to state representatives regarding state shared revenue. And we did not discuss this in the council committees today.
Move approval.
Councilmember Knutzen moves approval. Councilmember Mann?
I have a question.
Yeah.
In the letter, on the second page, it's page 409 in your packet. In the first line, it says, ability to approve the Public Safety Sales Tax Council manically. What does that mean?
I thought it was kind of weird. I have a circle.
Is it a typo?
I don't know.
It should be one word.
It's your letter.
Is it automatically? I didn't write the letter.
It is a word.
I know manically is a word, but is that how we approve
not one word?
public safety sales
Council
tax. What is a public safety sales tax council?
Hey, Mr. How'd you say it? You were going to manage the forest anarchically?
No, I said if you prefer anarchic recreational
Anarchic
opportunities.
Yeah,
That's it.
right.
Anarchic recreation.
So now we have manic public safety. I just don't understand what this sentence means.
I have no idea. We just copied
Who wrote
it from
this?
another-
Where did this come from?
Yeah, we just
The
copied
associ-
the letter from,
The association.
yes.
Yeah, from Wasac.
I think it's one word. Council
Does,
manic.
does
I've heard of
anyone else
council
think
manic.
this is a grammatically correct sentence?
I have I've already.
I think it's are you sure it isn't councilmatically?
You sure?
No, if I may, I've Googled it. It's a wonderful thing when you have this in front of you. Manically is for more than one person, so it would be, I think, as a majority is what they're meaning.
Well, why don't we
That's
say?
not one word.
Oh, then I'm definitely a yes.
Yeah.
Then why don't
Ability
we,
to approve the Public Safety Sales Tax Council as a group, I think is as
council,
defined. So,
What's the Public Safety Sales Tax Council? If you don't mind my asking.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to be. This is, I think it's a
No,
cut,
it's us.
It's a
Council-
cut and paste from the state document, basically encouraging our legislative delegation to make sure that they continue to fund the programs and initiatives that we've traditionally received from them through the next budget biennium. But interesting, it's the first I read it, so it is an interesting choice of words. It wouldn't be something that, as you all know, it wouldn't be something that would come off of my tongue. I don't know.
so other counties say commission manically?
I have no idea.
You guys work that one out.
But I have another concern.
This is time sensitive. Hang on a second.
We could make it special.
Right, but what's the time sensitivity of this?
I believe April 1st it needs to be in. Is that, Arden? Was it April 1st that letter needed to be into the state? Okay.
If you could approve it with your ability of your staff to make it just a little bit more grammatically clear, I think that'd be great, and we could get it off to the state. I think it'd be an easy way for the council to get around it.
Okay, Councilmember Kremen and then Brenner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I actually think that the language is boilerplate language that is used for the legislative bodies of each of the counties of Washington State. So I think it's boilerplate language to be consistent with the RCWs, but if it's the will of the council to use a word that they've used before in Scrabble or something like that, then so be it. But I think that the association did their due diligence, and as your LSC representative to that body, I recommend that we pass it as is. But I am certainly willing to, if the council wishes to alter it so that you feel more comfortable.
Councilmember Brenner?
Well, there's at least one scrivener I found, so it's not actually set in stone, and I'll give that to anybody who wants it afterwards if it passes. I'm not comfortable. This letter sounds really good till you get to that last paragraph, and it really does sound to me like we're talking about working with them to raise taxes. Ability to approve the Public Safety Sales Tax Council manically, whatever. This sounds like it's a new tax, or it could be an additional tax. Let me finish.
It's
please.
not.
Well, I just want some language to reassure me, and the language I came up with is at the end of that saying, and not simply transfer unfunded mandates to the county to tax. We are already sending you money for these services. So I don't want us given the impression that we're going to support any tax increases. And we'll get all the credit for adding another tax increase. I'm not interested. So, and I hear you, but that's not what it reads to me. So I'd like that other. I'm going to make a motion to add the language that I just said. However, anybody wants to make it clean, but I want me to read it again?
Yep.
Okay. it would be, the last sentence says, in addition to encourage you to consider the sound proposals, we urge you to not reduce or eliminate state shared revenues as a solution to the state's budgeting dilemma. However, we do not want you to simply transfer unfunded mandates to the county to tax. We are already sending you money for these services.
But
Councilmember Crawford.
yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, but I think it's redundant. I think the sentence as they wrote it is perfect, and all you're doing is saying the same thing over in a different set of words. And
So,
I appreciate that's the way you speak, but I think this is fine the way it is.
So the ability to prove the public safety sales tax count. See, when I saw councilmanically, I thought it meant that we do it. And I don't know what council there is, since WASAC is
Yes,
not
that is something that WASAC has advocated for, is that local governments have the opportunities to increase extra tenths of a percent.
See, and
It's enabling but not mandatory.
But
If
we're
we
not
wish not to do it,
right, and we're not. I don't think we're saying that necessarily on any one issue. This is a laundry list of issues that WASAC has advocated that they're trying to put in front of the state to say, if you're currently paying us for stuff, don't cut that out and say we still have to do it. So that's why I say, Councilmember Brenner, I think you're saying the same thing. I think this already says it, and that's why I'm not in favor of adding another sentence.
Councilmember Kremen.
Madam Chair, we had a fairly extensive, well, we've had more than one extensive discussion about this in Olympia with the representatives from the various counties throughout the state. And there are a lot of conservative counties in Washington State. Of course, most of them are on the east side of the mountains, I must confess. But I don't think there was anyone, I think it was unanimous, if I recall, in the support for this letter. So I feel comfortable. I think it sends the right message to the legislature, and I would recommend that the council approve sending the letter with your signature, Madam Chair.
I have a question. Since you're our representative, how come they didn't include allowing counties to use certain funds that are way restricted but gaining in balances? What is that called?
Well,
transfer of money through funds.
Actually, there was a bill that was geared specifically to do just that. It was sponsored by Senator Erickson from the 42nd Legislative District, and unfortunately, it did not get through the legislative process. At least now in Olympia, nothing is ever dead until the sine die gavel bangs, but it doesn't look like Senator Erickson's proposal that would accomplish what you're referring to is going to be able to get through the legislative process.
We can still advocate for it, though, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, Councilmember, yeah, you've got a motion. Anybody else want to speak to Barbara's motion, Councilmember Brenner's motion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I change, Kremen changes yay to nay.
All right. So opposed was no.
Nay.
Okay. Councilmember Brenner, your motion to amend fails 6-1.
Well, so there's a scrivener here too. Who do I give that to?
Why don't you
Dana.
just tell us what it is?
The third paragraph, third sentence, I think it is. It starts off saying, these revenues are incredibly important to counties because the only other legislative provided revenue sources are, it's the next sentence after that. Counties do not enjoy additional diversified, it said revenues sources. It should say revenue sources, just like it says on the sentence before that.
Good call.
Well, you finally prevailed, and now you can go home and feel good about it.
We should vote on it just to make a unanimous vote.
All those in favor
I
of
support-
Councilmember Brenner's amendment, say aye.
Boy Scouts, well, we need them.
Yeah, really.
Okay, is there any other discussion on the letter as a whole? Any other amendments that any council member wants to offer? Councilmember Mann.
Well, I hate to say it, but I don't really have any background on this. I never had heard the term state shared revenues before. I have to admit, I'm sure some of you have, but to me, this is like a letter just saying, "Dear state, please don't cut funding to the counties because we need the money." And I totally get it, but
You don't like telling the state what to do, right?
I don't, unless it's something that, like, we've studied for a long time, and I have any idea what I'm talking about. I'd also like to understand the grammar and the verbiage in the letter. So I'm 0 for 3 on all of those. I can't support it.
Councilmember Knutzen.
Yeah, I feel a lot of the same angst that you're expressing, but we are a member of the WASAC for a reason, and this came as a recommendation from the WASAC. So when I read the email, I kind of got the impression that if they're truly looking out for what's best for us, their recommendation had a lot of weight as far as my supporting this or not. So that was what I went by.
Councilmember Brenner.
Well, how about when WASAC approved that and ask us about it? So sorry, I'm not. Do no wrong. I'm not supporting it.
Councilmember Kremen.
In a nutshell, what the state, the legislature was contemplating doing and is still contemplating doing is changing the formula for revenue sharing, taking counties, a portion of the county's revenue, and shifting it over to them to fix their budget hole. That's the nexus of the issue, and it's really not any more complicated than that. And that's why there was, I believe it was unanimous support for this from all the counties that comprise the Legislative Steering Committee of WASAC.
So can we add a phrase here where I'm going to sign it that says, heck no?
Yeah.
All right. Any other discussion on this letter? Seeing none, all those in favor of sending the amended version, say aye.
What did we amend?
We took Scribner's.
Scribner's error.
The amended Scribner.
Yeah. We took an S out.
Are you okay, Councilmember Crawford?
What about the management thing? Is that going to stay?
Oh, yeah.
There's no motion. Did you want to change that to as a group? Was
No, I
the
don't think that's what it means.
thesaurus equivalent?
No.
All right. So all those in favor of the amended version, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay, we'll send the letter with a 5-2 vote. Councilmembers Mann and Brenner opposed.
You might want to change the last sentence.
County elected are united, except for 2 in Whatcom.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
your job to sign it. We don't know what you're going to end up signing. So
that's right.
Sign it.
Okay.
Verify.
So, we're at our introduction items. Is there a motion to accept the 3 introduction items?
I'll move to accept our introduction items.
All right. Any discussion?
I do have a
Councilmember
question for the
Crawford?
clerk. Why on the hearing examiner appeal, are we saying we don't know if we're going to do it in 2 weeks? Or I'm just trying to figure out if I need to study that issue.
No, we just put it on there as receipt of, and then because there may be time extensions and all kinds of things that come into the final date for
So we're a
action.
ways off from
Yes.
the final day. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So there's been a motion to accept the introduction items. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Those are accepted for introduction. Is there any other business? All right. Councilmember Knutzen?
Yeah, well, as we're paying attention to the WASAC emails, I don't know if everybody remembers, but we got an email from WASAC requesting that we submit any stormwater projects that we have to them to submit to Senator Erickson. I know I submitted some of those, but I don't know if you guys were aware of that email. And
We are aware of the email, and we've worked with Public Works, and we've been in contact with Senator Erickson's office, plus with McBride, Tom and Ben to get primarily the Swift Creek project on the list. As we discussed earlier today, the Birch Bay Berm project doesn't qualify for MODCA funding, but it's worth a try. It is a long shot because in the past Swift Creek hasn't met MODCA standards, but you just never know. But we're giving it a go, and thank you for bringing that to our attention, but we are working on it already.
Great. Any other business? All right. The reports and other items from council members. We'll start. Councilmember Weimer, any reports?
Nothing.
Councilmember Knutzen.
Well, I would like to say thank you to Councilmembers Brenner and Man, not Brand, but Councilmembers Brenner and Man for attending a meeting that I had last week with Catholic Community Services and some of the downtown merchants. And I would like to say Councilmember Mann did a spectacular job taking notes, and I really appreciated that, and I really appreciated both your help with that. So, and
I just want to know if they changed their mind.
it's been a very productive meeting, and we have another one that we're going to have.
Oh, a work in progress.
He's becoming a real politician.
I will say I bring props. So.
He's got a cow truck, really, seriously.
It makes it does shorten people's comments to a certain extent. Nothing to report.
Okay, I just wanted to report that about 3 weeks ago, and I know I didn't make this comment at our last meeting, I was honored to be asked to come and pass out the trophies and the awards to the 4th through 8th graders in Whatcom County that participated in the math championship competition that's put on every year. And I went into a packed full gymnasium at the Whatcom Community College of kids that were so excited about math and got to hand out wonderful trophies to these kids. And I just want to say congratulations to all of them and their parents, and it was an honor to be able to do that. Councilmember Brenner.
Nothing.
Councilmember Kremen.
I just want to thank you for doing that, because I've done it for 28 years in a row, and this was the first year that I didn't do it. And I did it not just because I was asked to, and because I wanted to support our local students as well as the ones that come from out of the area. But it also means a lot to me because my dad was a math teacher for 30 some odd years, and it kind of made me feel like I was keeping it in the family. But I want to thank you for doing that, and I bet you it made you feel good inside too, didn't it?
It did. It's my first, experience doing that. Councilmember Crawford.
Nothing, but I wanted. Do we have a council meeting Thursday night this week too?
We do have a council meeting Thursday night with the city and the Lake Whatcom Water District.
I'm not going to be able to attend that. I'm going to be at the Washington State Transportation Improvement Board meeting in Vancouver, Washington that night. So.
Okay, and I'm not going to be able to attend that either. I'm actually going to be in Spokane.
I think I have the flu.
Well, I'll be there, and I'll have more say then, won't I?
Well, maybe we'll reconsider. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.